Hey everybody, this is Teresa over at whatwouldyourhairdressersay.com. It's an interactive blog for teenagers, mostly girls, although guys are welcome to ask questions as well as parents. Hey, before I forget, I wanted to post a little video about something I put on my website as something you could print out. Because if you're anything like me, you would rather watch a video than sit down and read it. So what the title of it is ideas of what to look for in a friend, boyfriend, girlfriend too, or someday husband. I find a lot of girls are looking only at appearance and status, and they only end up getting hurt by that because it generally never works out well. So this list comes partly from research, partly from experience over 21 years listening to people tell me about all the inner parts of their life. So take it for what it's worth. It's obviously not exhaustive. No list can. The idea is to give you, I guess, a way to encourage you to think about what your own list would look like. So that's all it's for. Okay. First one. Now, if you are a person of faith, I don't care what faith it is, does that person share it with you? That's important. Let's say you're a Christian. You love Jesus, you want to serve him in any way that he wants you to, and you're willing to do that. And the person that you are interested in, say he believes in God, but that's pretty much it. That is going to be a major problem. I have seen that over and over and over again. If you guys aren't chasing the same thing, you're going to battle. And he's going to be standing in your way, you're going to be standing in his way. It's just never good. I've also, I guess the messiest ones that I have seen is where they come from different religious sects. So one is Catholic and one is Lutheran, or one is Catholic and one is a Christian. And, this person over here values religious ceremonial type things. And this person over here is like, well, that's not even biblical. That's how they think, And then they have this problem, like, how are we going to raise our kids? How do we even pray? How do we pick a church? And they just fight, and it gets really ugly. I don't think I've ever seen anything more ugly in a marriage, other than adultery and abuse. But barring that, I haven't seen much more ugly things than that. Okay, next one. Does he do the right thing even when it's hard? Let me tell you a story. A couple of months ago, my dog, Daisy, was attacked by another dog. And this guy had been walking his dog with his girlfriend, and I thought Daisy was hurt pretty bad. I mean, she was screaming and crying and couldn't put any weight on one of her back legs. So I got his phone number and said, I might have to take her to the vet. Now, if you're the girlfriend, you really need to watch closely how he handles that. If I had called him, which I didn't need to, but if I had called him and said, hey, I have a $300 vet bill you need to pay, if he ponies up right away and says, you know what, that was my dog that did it, I will pay it, and I'll pay it now. Great. That's a positive sign for her. Now, if he, doesn't answer my phone calls or return my phone calls, he's hiding from me, he argues with me, he just flat refuses to pay, she should exit that relationship, because someday when the right thing that needs to be done comes along and it's on her behalf, he's not going to do it. Or on your kid's behalf, worse yet. He's not going to do it, okay? Exit. Is he honest with his taxes? Why do you ask, you may say? Well, think ahead. Let's say you have children with this person. Child support is figured out based on each person's income. If he is dishonest and hides money from the government, one, that's dishonest, period. That should be a huge red flag. Two, you will not be getting what is fair for child support for you to raise this child. There's lots of girls that are in poverty today because men do that stuff. It's another way of looking at what his character is like, okay? Is he or has he ever been sexually active? This is actually really important, even though it is such a cultural norm. But a guy who cannot control his hormones is the guy who's going to be checked out to porn. He's going to be sleeping with whoever. He's going to be the one that's checking out girls in front of you. He's the one that you're going to feel very insecure about because he doesn't control his hormones. It is really important. And if he's been very sexually active, the likelihood of you getting an STD is pretty darn high. I don't know about you, but I don't really want to deal with that. Is he motivated? No, lots and lots of complaints from women about lazy husbands. They're sitting there checked out to video games. They don't really want to work. They don't want to take care of the outside. And what happens is you end up working, paying all the bills, and doing the laundry, and taking care of the kids, and cooking, and. You need a motivated guy. This is a partnership. He is not going to put you in a position to be his caretaker unless you let him, all right? Does he share a fair amount of your interests? Now, there are opinions on both sides of this. From my observation, just my observation, opposites attract, opposites do not maintain very well without a lot of fighting. Usually if you have some things in common that you can do together, that's an opportunity for you guys to build a really solid friendship. Now, there are some couples that are fiercely independent and they don't really want to spend a lot of time with each other. I don't really understand why you'd get married if that was the case, but you know, different strokes for different folks, something to think about. Is he open-minded? Now, if you're an adventurous person, there's not a lot that will frustrate you more than a closed-minded stick in the mud. Open-minded people usually don't have issues with control, okay? They are pretty easygoing, they're willing to try new things. If they're closed-minded, they're usually fearful, and therefore they control just to control. Not a fun situation. Open-minded is good. Now, it doesn't mean that he needs to be wishy-washy about what he believes. I'm not saying that, just open-minded. Does he take care of himself? For example, does he work out regularly, or is he at least active? Does he eat well? Does he eat his feelings? Does he abuse tobacco, drugs, alcohol? And if he's had a past pattern of that, is he in AA? Is he in a support group to try to keep him on track? Any of those things. Is he a workaholic? Or does he work out way too much? Is he obsessed with 6% body fat? Get my drift? He needs to have some balance there. If he is a person of faith, does he spend time doing things like reading his Bible, hanging out with other guys who are believers, going to a guy's Bible study, spending time with an older guy that's kind of helping him along in his faith, supporting organizations that matter to him? Again, talk is cheap, actions shout, right? Is he pretty positive about life, or is he the dreaded negative Ned? I hate the negative Ned. No fun. I'm not going to say any more about that. You probably feel the same way, I hope. Is he curious? Surprisingly, this is a big deal. Like I said before, if you're not curious, if you're not open-minded, you probably have control issues. Is he adventurous, romantic, and exceedingly kind? Women generally want a confident guy to go on a life adventure with. What often happens, though, when they don't choose well, is they become the adventure, usually after the guy has had sex with them. They drop them like a bad habit, and the girl ends up feeling terribly used and damaged. So, is he good with money? Does he pay his bills on time? Does he save? Does he invest? Does he have debt? Debt is a flag. That means that he can just never get enough, and he doesn't know what no means. He doesn't know what limits are. Does he have goals, dreams, aspirations? A guy that is content with the status quo will usually not be a stellar husband, and here is why. Life ebbs and flows. We have different seasons in life that most of us cannot control. And when a guy just wants to live in a little white box, it just doesn't work that way. He either gets a little rocked and he's not real fun to live with, or he's terribly boring and you might not have a destructive marriage, but you may have a really disappointing one. Either one, not so fun. Is he responsible in general? Can you count on him? Is he honoring to his parents, even if his parents aren't easy to honor? Does he talk trash about other people, or is he generally giving people the benefit of the doubt? Is he aggressive at all? Assertive is cool, aggressive is not. Conversely, is he too passive? Or worse yet, passive-aggressive? Ugh, yuck, yuck, and yuck. Does he respect authority? This is important. He should. Does he treat you as a partner instead of a second-class citizen? Really hate that one. It's awfully common, though. Is he loving towards kids and animals? Big flag here, girls. Even if the guy does not want kids or animals, watching how he treats things that cannot defend themselves is a pretty good indication of character. Pay attention. Is he clean? I really dislike big, dirty men. I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't want another person to clean up after. That is just nasty. Does he have a lot of unresolved issues from his past? Now, let's be honest. If you got a pulse, you got issues, right? But it's how you're working through them. Are you working through them? Are you making progress? Are you blaming other people? Are you playing the victim? Or are you taking responsibility for your mistakes and trying to do something good with things that have happened to you that were out of your control, right? It's a process, right? Does he take responsibility when he's made mistakes? Does he say he's sorry and then make every effort to not repeat the same mistake? Big deal. Does he have a heart of a servant and a teacher? Now listen up here. When guys feel inclined to serve others and take the time to teach people, that is a person of character. When you have a person that, I don't have time for that, or I'm too important for that, guess who's going to be on the other end of the I'm too important for that and I don't have time for that? You and your kids, okay? Not a good character quality. It just says I'm inflated and I might be a narcissist, all right? Is he decisive? A guy who can't make a decision is a guy who puts everything on you and then you get to be the bad guy. Decisions need to be made as a partnership. It's a joint endeavor and it needs to be done well. We need to learn to yield to each other when somebody has a stronger opinion about something than the other. Okay, it's a partnership. Is he jealous of you? Oh boy, this one can get really messy, especially if you're a strong woman who is going places. Now, a guy who's done a lot of emotional work and is secure has no problem with a strong woman in his life. Now, a guy who does have a problem with that, well, then they call the girl mouthy. Really? What it should be is that each person is encouraging the other, right? So that you can reach your full potential. That is how it's supposed to be. Jealousy in a relationship is always, always ugly. Have you ever caught him in a lie outside of surprising you, like for a birthday or something? Need I say more? A liar is a liar is a liar. Does he do the right thing because it's the right thing, or does he do it so other people can heap praise on him? I don't know about you, but the person who can't get enough praise is like a bottomless pit, right? You want a person that does the right thing because it's the right thing. They don't need a pat on the back. They just want to do it because it's good. Is he selfish and self-absorbed with double standards? Again, you might be a narcissist if you're this way. Is he interested in the things that matter to you? Does he question things and attempt to understand you? Is he a good listener? Like I said, if he's not interested in you, then there's going to be a problem. He doesn't need to like take up this thing with you, but being curious about it is nice. How does he behave when he's angry? I think you can figure that one out. Is he a perfectionist? Now, sometimes it's great to be a perfectionist. You might stay employed by being a perfectionist. But when you require perfection of people, you're always going to be set up for failure. We're all broken people. We all make mistakes. We should have an environment where it's safe to make mistakes, it's safe to experiment, and have a little fun in the process, okay? Is he sensitive to your feelings, needs, dreams, and goals and desires? I sure hope so, because if you're doing life together, it's a big deal. Is he paranoid? The paranoid person, except for the PTSD sufferer. Paranoid people are paranoid because they have skeletons in the closet waiting to jump out, right? If there is no apparent reason for this person to be paranoid, like say he was in a war or whatever, pay attention, okay? Probably not a good person to be with. Here's one. Is he respectful about your life choices, provided they're healthy? Let me give you an example. I am a vegan. And I'm not just a vegan, I eat a whole food plant-based diet, which requires time, effort, planning, cooking. And I live in a place where it is very unpopular to not eat meat. People around here eat the standard American diet with a lot of meat, and I have never been more attacked for what I choose not to eat, despite the fact that I have zero judgment about people who choose to eat meat. I don't care what you do. But people are very attacking towards me about that. Not cool. Now, if you have somebody who's curious and asks questions and they truly are just curious, well, then that's a good thing, right? And maybe if they're willing to learn a few things, it's kind of nice. Does he respect your friends and family? A good guy should not make it hard for you to spend time with the people that you love, okay? Or stop doing the things that you always like to do in the first place. One final thing. Are you attracted to him? Now, did you notice it's the last thing on the list? Character is what saves the day. Yes, you need to be attracted to him, but looks are fleeting. I'm sorry, but a 90-year-old guy does not look like what he did when he was 20. Am I correct? I think so. So character is what makes this relationship work, okay? Now, the disclaimer here, do not point your finger at the other person wanting them to do all these things when you're not willing to do them yourself. You have got to look in the mirror. Require this of yourself. Understand that you might be the girl some guy is praying for, and that takes hard work on your part, okay? I hope you like the list. If you like it, hit the thumbs up right down there, and if you want to head to my page, whatwouldyourhairdressersay.com, and check out anything else I have over there, please do. I'll see you soon.